check my laser gun and I go pew 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 pew.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with DJ Intrasy. I'm super excited to get the chance to sit down with you. I am a huge fan. So again, just very excited for this opportunity. I would love to start, this kind of interview if you could start with explaining a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm from Maryland originally. I lived in Cincinnati, so, given people ask if I'm from Cincinnati. I moved to Louisville, Kentucky when I turned 18, or in that general area. And I started getting to the EDM scene heavily in 2019. I love the experimental bass, the wave music. And then eventually I started DJing when COVID struck. I messed with music as a kid. I saw a lot of opportunity up in Cincinnati. Yeah. So I packed everything up and just went. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go give it a try. It started growing from there.
Yeah. Was there any specific artists or, genres that, really pulled you into the community?
Ravenscoon is a big one. Mersive, Ellis Dream, a lot of those experimental, trippy, space-based kind of sounds I really enjoyed. Just a lot of that mid-range bass that kind of like surrounds your brain, if that makes any sense.
Totally. The dubs and wubs to make you feel funny in your brain.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. I totally feel that. I kind of, have shared the story a little bit before, but I would love to hear your version of kind of how we met and connected.
I gotta give a little bit of a story on that. So I was doing the silent disco for Haunted Fest. And I wasn't like stressing out, but when you're doing the silent discos, and on the DJ's perspective, we don't have speakers to hear what we're doing. On the mixer, there is a knob that you can swap between the cue point, or what you're hearing in the master channel, and then what's coming out to you all, and then what I'm hearing. Well, I couldn't hear what was coming out of the master at all.
Okay. So
I was starting to kind of get a little worried because when I use reverb and transitional effects, I couldn't hear any of that. So I was just hoping that worked. So when I came off stage, I was like, man, that was just terrible. It did not go the way I wanted. And then you came up to me, that you said you just really enjoyed it. And I was just like, I just felt so happy and relieved because I was like, because we can see what color channels people are on. Okay. And people weren't really on mine. So I was over here like, oh no, this is terrible. I'm having a rough time. And you made the night so much better when you came up to me about,
Oh my God. For sure. You absolutely killed it, but I had no idea that was happening. I know you were saying that there were some issues after I came up to you, during your set. But holy shit, is that typically how it goes for silent discos, or was it just that setup at Haunted Fest?
No, I don't know what was going on. It may have been a mixer issue. Okay. It may have been a setting that I wasn't aware of. But I don't know. At that point, I just kind of used the knowledge of the equipment and just really hoped that it sounded like I was doing. So.
Totally. And we are very much a family of dubs, wubs, heavy bass, all that good stuff. And that's when we were Team Blue all the way. So that's when we kind of ran up to you and I was like, oh my God, this is so awesome. But yeah, that's crazy. I had no idea that was happening for you.
I was like, you know what, I'm just going to keep it going and hope for the best. Plus, we only had a 30-minute set, which I like. I kind of like to play an hour because I can flow music easier that way. So in 30 minutes, I really had to squeeze in stuff really quickly.
For sure.
I mean, with you all coming up to me, I was like, okay, I did good. So
yeah, oh my God.
I appreciate that.
Sure. You absolutely killed it. And it was so cool to just connect with you, and then from there, we just walked around Haunted Fest and kind of rocked out together. So that was just such a fun night. If you've ever haven't been to Haunted Fest, please go. It's in Columbus, Ohio. Always a good time for sure. Speaking to that, I would love if you could kind of describe your artistry, your style of music. I know, we kind of touched that you are an open format DJ. What does that mean, and what does that look like?
So I keep two of my projects separate. So I do the club open format DJing, and then I do the Intrasy project, which is the bass part of it. Obviously, you can't really cross them. Open format, you could probably get away with more in the bass scene, but if you're at a bar, you're not going to get away with playing a lot of dubstep or wubby stuff. Unless it's the last 20 minutes, which I actually did this past weekend, and the staff loved it. But so I love both scenes. Both scenes are very, very rewarding. I learned a lot of knowledge in the open format scene, which I would never learn in the EDM scene, which is room control, reading a room, because you're playing for 4 hours.
Damn, that's a lot.
So you Yeah, so you want to keep the floor rotating, you want to keep people on the dance floor, you want to keep people going to the bar. So it's extremely fun to try new things, new combinations. It's just learning how to read the room and control people to keep that rotating. And then in terms of style, open format means I'll play everything. Now there's some things I won't play, like I'm not a big country guy, so I probably won't play that. But I'll throw stuff in like ABBA. I'll play Katy Perry. I'll play the the newest hip hop. I'll play it all. I don't. If people are dancing, I'm good. You know what I mean?
Totally. And you mentioned the Intrasy project. Can you dive into that a little bit deeper?
Yeah. So even with that, I still stay pretty open. What I experienced when I got into the first shows, where it was very kind of like just an up and down vibe. So I never stick to 1 BPM. I'll stick to a sound or an idea of my sets. But I will go from experimental based, heavy dubstep, D&B, down tempo, wave. So I like to do all of that while keeping a unique style.
Totally.
The challenge is being able to correctly make that set. So I kind of DJ in sections instead of just having one long thing. Like I'll do 5-10 songs, kind of do a small break, and then start the next one. Just to kind of, it's like a story, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, to kind of break it up. Very cool. You as today as an artist, who inspires you? Who are some, role models for you?
So the further I get into the EDM scene, I kind of look more towards morals than sound, because I already know the sound I want, but I'm very moral driven. So the biggest confirmation for me was actually at Lost Lands for Ellis Dream set. And it was the moment he had put up the Twitter post of I don't know if you were there or you saw that, but he did a scene where he had gone online and asked people what would you tell yourself 10 years in the past?
Yes.
And everybody was just commenting you'll be okay, keep pushing forward, just that positivity. Is just something that really spoke to me. So Ellis Dream, in terms of even sound, I do a lot of sound design. I'm man, I really like this wub stuff, the wubbies and the dirty bass lines that he does. Just the morals for me is a huge motivator, and it's just something I look up to.
Yeah, totally. Those artists that, you can really connect with, and like you said, have good morals are the ones to follow, the ones to check out, 10 out of 10. So it's really good to hear, that's kind of the direction that you shoot for, because I love to hear that shit. Can you describe your journey? How did you get to where you are now? What did that look like, and what were some struggles that you faced?
I actually started out as a tear-out DJ. I did dubstep. I didn't do anything I did now. So I was really into Excision and Virtual Riot, which I still enjoy them. I played a lot of those shows. I think the closer around time that COVID was happening, things were really just slowing down. Mm-hmm. And I was really trying to work on music. It was just, the typical, you're trying to start out, you're trying to play these cool shows. And I had nights where it was really busy, and then, you have nights where it's just an empty floor. So I started in the beginning of COVID. I think a year later, last summer, I moved up here to Cincinnati, right? Because there was a promoter here that was coming out to help out with shows, and just, I saw opportunity. So I came up here, and then eventually they let me open for Jansen.
How was that? Was that awesome or what?
It was a great show. I was trying to talk to Jansen for a minute, but I got really nervous, so I was stuttering. I'm an anxious person, so I was I don't know what to say to him. Yeah,
for sure. I'm literally the same way. I feel like I'm a confident person, but as soon as you step into someone that's super badass, I'm very speechless. I totally agree.
My journey's been really kind of all over the place. So I ended up getting an invite to play a silent disco at Summerfest, which was great. I had a blast there. So I think me being nice and me willing to help out where I can has gotten me more opportunities than anything. Because I have the mindset if you book me for something, I will offer to hey, do you want me to pick something up? Do you want me to do this? Because you're giving. I know that you're paying me to come out and you're having me to come out to perform, but I'm also I like to give back where I can. The opportunity has come from me helping out. I guess they saw that and they're you want to do this? And I was yes.
Yeah.
I will.
For sure. being kind to people and just making those connections, like, will take you as far as you want to go in life. I live by that. And, during Haunted Fest, when I came up to you and you were just so kind, and, you just kind of wanted to vibe out and hang out. And now here we are getting to, sit down and interview. So always be kind, you guys. Follow Plur always. It's the rule to live by. So that's really awesome.
From that same opportunity, I got to do a little RV stage at Forest. And I actually have a picture on my Instagram from that, and the crowd was like, it was just like a confirmation that my style like is what I'm meant to do, because like I just like I touched so many people. I had a lot of people come up and comment on just kind of what I played. It was my first like big crowd at a festival. That was like, it was on like a sound system. It was a great experience. I was so warm-hearted. I was definitely nervous. Like the first 5-10 minutes, I sweat. I don't know why. I get so nervous, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But the more the crowd feeds the energy into me, like the more I'm able to like confidently kind of do my thing.
Totally. And then what advice would you give to someone just kind of starting out on a journey of creating music?
There's 2 points I definitely want to make on this. Definitely the biggest thing is being humble and being willing to take advice, because like I've been like, when I started out, I was very like, actually when I started out, I would never touch open format. I wouldn't touch any bar music, I wouldn't touch any hip hop, because I was like, I'm not going to be the same DJ as everybody else. But I gave it a shot, and like it's almost an every weekend gig. Like just be open to learning new things, because you may try something you would like that you didn't think you would like. Like I don't like the Wobble song, like by VIC.
Okay.
I don't know why. I guess because it's so like tacky. Yeah. But when I play it every night, I'm dancing to it, and I'm like, damn it.
Yeah,
it's a good, like,
Yeah. I mean, it's a good song for sure. It makes you wiggle. I get that.
Just be honest about your intentions and be pure about it. Don't like, if you're gonna do something, do it for the purest of reasons, and don't ever do anything for like clout or anything. Because for me, like I do it. I have a deep love for the music and for the community, so that's kind of my big drive for it.
You were kind enough to send me a baby picture of little Josh, and I will go ahead and throw it up on the screen right here. But what advice would you give to your younger self, knowing what you know now?
Stick with music. I messed with music when I was 15, 16 years old. I would go downstairs to the basement and just kind of mess with synths and little samples and stuff. Like, honestly, my biggest regret in life right now is not doing that. Because if I had stuck with, like, messing with that as a kid right now, oh my god, I would, like, just my experience and what I know would just be so much further. So, like, if you're passionate about something as a kid, just stick with it. Trust me, it'll be worth it long term.
Yeah, let's hop into your perspectives and your takes on a few things. Within the music industry, there are a lot of things that festival goers or ravers don't see behind scenes that a lot of DJs kind of have to face. What are some things or thoughts that you may have on, what needs to be fixed or what needs to be spotlighted, within the EDM community?
My first thing that comes to mind is the photographers, VJs, and the promoters that like actually do a lot of work, and the ones that put in the effort and make sure their team is taken care of. Because at the end of the day, like, without our photographers, without our VJs, without our promoters, and without even people like you that come up and introduce themselves to us artists, like, we wouldn't have a spotlight. So at the end of the day, like, I really want to see more spotlight kind of given to just the team that works to put it together for these events. You know what I mean? Because, like, without the VJs and everything, we wouldn't have those big ass visuals on Lost Land screens.
Yeah, for sure.
So just kind of stuff like that, just appreciation to the whole team, and even like your vendors, people that give you water, because like you can't imagine like how amount of people they're dealing with during the day. So
totally. And to speak to that from my own perspective, this past year at Imagine Festival, my really good friend Brandon Gray, he and the Lunchbox team, we actually sponsored the Renegade stage, and it was my first time going behind the scenes and getting there early, just kind of set up. And I was astonished at the amount of work that goes through, like you said, setting up even a baby screen or putting up the stages or setting up even like a little tent for vendors, to get their products set up. It is absolutely wild. So I love that you touched on that. it's like you said, the little things that kind of keep people going for sure.
I honestly think every artist should help out at shows. Like, do your due diligences, because you'll learn how much work really goes into it.
Totally. Because it's a hot topic, I would love to kind of dive more into the E4 situation going on. I see it across all social platforms. People who are like tier 10, which is like the highest you could get to, they will have been sitting in waiting rooms for like 8 to 16 hours, and then they go to add a ticket in their cart and they get booted. So it has just been a massive shit show across the board. Yeah, Forest is just like one of those festivals that everybody's dying to get into, and every year, it grows in popularity. I know that this year, this will actually be my first Forest, and I know last year the tickets were way cheaper. So I would love to ask you, are festivals today, are they, charging too much? Is it becoming too outrageous for, a normal raver to handle? What are your thoughts on that?
I definitely think that the pricing is pretty high. While a lot of the other festivals, like there's smaller ones like Beyond the Void in Indianapolis, I've played a few times. It's definitely a smaller one. It's community driven. They bring this incredible sound. Like, I should have took earplugs last year. I played on the Henny system actually, and it was crazy. And the festivals, the tickets for that were affordable. In terms of Forest, I'm trying to. I try to play like both sides. Like, prices are ridiculous, I think, but at the same time, from what I've been reading, staff, people want fair pay. I'm just trying to find like the reasoning why it's so expensive. I went last year. I honestly, I can't really justify the price, but I'm paying it,
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to whatever the hell they charge. We are just so in love with the community. We're going to make it work. But, I really want to throw it out there to baby ravers and people just joining the community. You don't have to go to these massive mainstream festivals to, really get involved. There are so many local opportunities, so many local DJs, and even what you were saying, like local festivals that are smaller that, don't really care about charging money. They just want to make sure costs are covered. And then from there, just rock out and vibe out. So I see a lot of people who are like, I want to get into EDC Vegas or, Electric Forest, but ticket prices are too high and there's nothing else to do, outside of that. But there's so much to do. Hop in a Facebook community group, ask a friend. I promise you there are different things you can, take advantage of.
I try to stay as humble about it, about, people, like why people go to festivals, because like I'm not them. I'm not going to assume, but I do think that like I mentioned, Beyond the Void is an indie fest, and it was just complete, like all the vibes were great. There was not a vibe where you feel like people were there for clout. It was definitely there for the culture, for the music, for people just there for each other.
Totally.
I definitely feel like, and I could see where tickets being so expensive that influencers that can go in and just become like people that are just there to be like, oh, look, I have all this money, I can go to this fest. And there's also other people that are willing to spend it because they love the Forest so much. So it's really hard to kind of assume like what is the truth, because everybody goes for a different reason, so.
Absolutely, totally. And touching on that too, there's a lot of controversy right now. Are EDM festivals becoming mainstream? And, for me, the more the merrier. Please come, please check it out. I would love to see as many new faces at festivals as possible. But, it gets to a point where you see people that are there just for pictures. And, for example, at EDCO, this past EDCO, we were going around interviewing different people, and, I would always ask, what does EDM stand for? Or what does Plur mean to you? And probably, I want to say like 8 out of the 10 people that I asked were like, what is Plur? They had absolutely no idea, which is baffling to me. So I would love to ask you for your opinion. Do you think that EDM festivals are becoming too mainstream?
I don't think it's becoming mainstream, but I definitely have noticed more of a general crowd that come out. You can normally kind of tell like people that are there for the culture and music versus like it's just an energy thing. It's so hard to say. I don't know about mainstream, but I definitely have noticed more of an influx of people that are there for the pictures versus people that are there for that the family and the culture and the music and everything. So
bouncing off that too, like there are some festivals that I can't really speak towards, but just based on hearing feedback that I don't know if I would ever, go out of my way to go to because, might not be a Plur vibe.
They're there for partying and, maybe the bass heads are more for the Plur vibes. I don't know.
That's actually, I could totally understand where you're coming from with that. I've been to EDCLV, EDC Orlando. This past year was my first Lost Lands, and, at EDCLV there was pushing and it was great vibes, immaculate, don't get me wrong, but there were definitely some moments for my group and I where we just kind of looked around and we were like, what the hell is this crowd, but at Lost Lands, so magical, everyone is your friend. Like something about the bass dubstep community, like people are there for you, there's not a single stranger, and that is like my favorite. I live for that.
So it's funny you say that because I was reading reviews and reading things online that Lost Lands was very bro-y, that people were rude. I had a wonderful time. I was super surprised because like you would read reviews online and then you have a different experience. So like I'm definitely going again this coming year.
Totally. And I love that you said that because I cannot stress enough. Everyone has a different experience. There are hundreds of thousands of people that go to these festivals. If you get on Facebook, there are always going to be people that complain and say they had the worst time, but everyone's experience is so different and unique. If I could give any piece of advice, it would be do not, change your mind about going to a festival if you wanted to go because one, review on Facebook or on Reddit or whatnot. But just be respectful, if you're going to get fucked up, if you're going to do drugs, be safe, be respectful to others around you, and you'll be golden.
It's like when you go to a show, you go to a venue or you go to a festival, it's just like you're giving love, you're giving peace, you're making sure everybody feels welcome, you're spreading creativity. To me, Plur is not just like the peace, love, respect, and unity. It's we're all one piece to making everything better. If that makes any sense.
When you in the outside world, I personally am just terrified of going up to random people because people are rude and it's always scary. You never know what reaction you're gonna get. But with Plur vibes at raves and festivals, like you could go up to somebody, ask, "Do you have a piece of gum? Do you know where the bathroom is?" And 9 times out of 10, that person will hug you, give you what you need. Like it's so magical. But yeah, like you said, that human connection that's on such a deeper level and it's so effortless. Plur hits home for me as well so hard. Like I just live it, preach it, love it always. People say all the time that Plur is a dying movement. Keep it alive, and in everything you do, just be Plur, be kind, just show that love, and I promise you'll get it back.
Like respecting people that are choosing to be sober. I have friends that love the community but are just frustrated because, once they chose to be sober, then, it's like there's just a treatment shift or feeling shift, because they don't want to go out and party as much. Like that, I just don't like that. Like if I'm doing a show or I'm doing an event and you're coming to my show, and you want to come sober, you're welcome. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Accepting everything and accepting everyone, regardless of their their walks of life, their lifestyle. I mean, as long as you're not hurting anybody,
totally. That is just the golden rule. As long as you're not hurting yourself or anybody and you're being respectful, do what you want to do to make you happy and to make your experience more enjoyable. That's the simple truth of it, honestly. But I would love to shift back kind of into your music and your, kind of path of life. I would love to ask you, going forward, what are some of your goals? Maybe like a dream gig or a dream festival you're hoping to hit?
I definitely want to headline a Forest, main stage of Forest someday. I would love that. I feel like it's a lot of artists' big goals. That a big 360, because I've been to an event that was mind blowing. In terms of those are my biggest two. That and Wakan.
Okay.
because Wakan has a lot of like just Liquid Stranger. From what I've heard, he's a super nice guy. There's a lot of artists that fall into my realm of sound. Like, I want my brand to be like a representation of color and positivity. Like actually, I'm working on something right now to where like maybe every 2 weeks or every month I'll have like a positive message, positive quote. I want to like if you know that Intrasy is going to be somewhere, I want it to be known that there's going to be a safe space for community, for creativity. So I'm just right now I'm trying to figure out kind of how to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. That is fucking awesome. What do you want to teach people? If your fan base could walk away learning one thing, what would it be?
That it's honestly okay to be yourself. That things are going to be okay. There's just so much that I want to be able to give people. Whatever message I give you is kind of like what you take away from it. Just to be accepting, to be open to growth, because growth can be scary. I'm still growing to this day. I mean, by day, I'm always trying to be better. I'm trying to catch myself in toxic moments. We all have those. It's hard to be self accountable. So I think the biggest thing I want to teach people is just to spread as much peace, love, and positivity as you can, because tomorrow's not guaranteed.
You heard it here, folks. That is like the best message ever. For me personally, I feel like there are a lot of upcoming artists that are so focused on, growing their brand for, not the right purposes in the community. So I'm excited to see where you take that and how you do it, for sure.
I appreciate it. It's definitely, I'm learning every day. I make mistakes, I make wrong moves, I make right moves. The biggest thing that I'm trying to do, and I don't just do it for the community, I do it for myself too. Like, me trying to push as much positivity and growth is for my own, like, negative depression and my own feelings, because, like, I don't openly express things I go through. But it's like being more open to spirituality and being more open to pushing positivity has definitely helped just me as well. I'm still kind of trying to figure out what the next move is. But that's, I guess, part of the process. So, and I'm trying to trust it.
Yeah. I have no doubt you will go very far, especially with the morals that you have. Keep those and you will be golden, I'm sure. And I would like to kind of move to the fun questions for you, kind of the hot takes, if you will. Either as a DJ or as a rave goer, what are some of the pet peeves that you have or things that might grind your gears?
I want people to be okay and not have health issues. And it's the recklessness that kind of irks me, because like everybody's life is valuable.
Totally.
So I kind of want that to be an awareness, and like I've seen people just take stuff from strangers and never test it. I mean, we both know there's fentanyl issues going around, so it's an irk out of care, because I don't want people to just be end up hurt.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't mind the clackers. I know a lot of people do.
That was one of my questions, the fan clackers. You don't mind? You don't
care? As long as it's not like for the whole set. If it's just like for the beat, whatever. But I haven't had to deal with a lot of them, so yeah. I think the clackers are kind of fizzling out.
And the worst type of fan clackers are the ones that are too far gone, who clack the whole set and they're not even on beat. If you're gonna be a fan clacker, be on beat. That's my only request. Just be on beat. And outside of that, again, do what you need to do to enjoy it and enhance your experience. But again, be respectful around people. If you are around a fan clacker who is just being too obnoxious, don't be rude to them. Just move to a different spot in the crowd. If it's something persistent, maybe kindly ask.
Like, I of course, depending on your actions, I'm very big on growth and accountability culture. And what I mean by that is, let's say I'm being shitty towards you, right? And you don't like that, and I'm saying mean things. I'm just kind of being crappy, and you come to me and you're like, hey, look, this is how you're acting. Like, we need to talk it out, help that person grow. Because at the end of the day, like for me personally, I'll put some beans out there. I come from a very rough emotional history. I've dealt with a lot, and there are times where even I've said some mean things, I've made some mistakes, But instead of people like going straight to Twitter or going straight to Facebook and be like, he's a shitty person, like they're like, hey, look, this is how you made me feel. I didn't really appreciate that, and I was like, oh, because like sometimes you won't even know it. Now, like I said, it depends on what you're doing. But like I've gotten into arguments with people, and we resolved it. So I feel like that if you're seeing people that need some work, maybe help them. I don't know. Like I'm big on growth. You know
Totally.
what I mean? And we all come from different. Sometimes we don't even realize people. Not me. Sometimes people don't realize what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah, I mean, as long as you have the best intentions of helping someone out, absolutely do it.
Mhm.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. If I have a slower growth as an artist, just so I can like reach like that level of I'm trying to figure out how to explain this. If I can reach like a higher level as an artist, but it's a slower process to build because I want to do things on a plur base and community base and positivity base instead of it just being like about the music, that's fine because like if I'm just making music and that's all I'm doing, that's not why I'm doing it. But like because I'm so passionate about the community and growth, and I want to see people be happy, and what I want to create center around the project. Like if that takes longer, that's fine with me. I really appreciate meeting you. Like the big thing for me, the driving force, is just like people like you that come up and make a genuine. Like to me, genuine connection is everything. It's so heartfelt and it's so heartwarming to. It's kind of the same thing. When I feel like that I'm having like a rough set, and I just get like I had your group come up to me and just you like even with the interview, I'm just over here like I was so nervous. I was like, oh my god, like this is so surreal. Like it's really nice to have the genuine connection and genuine approach because it makes me feel like I'm doing something right. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I don't think I or anybody needs to validate that you're doing something right. You are loving what you're doing. You're having the best time. You're, educating people on how to be good human beings. Like, that is all you can ask for at this point. So you're killing it. You don't need me to say that.
We're going to kind of go over random thoughts. ADHD gang. So with the hot topic of forest being so expensive, if you are definitely looking for smaller festivals, I definitely recommend Beyond the Void. It's very intimate. The sound they brought has been great. One festival I have coming up is Quasar. That is going to be in Texas, which I'm waiting on the lineup. So like I said, I'm trying to push out west because I feel like for my style, it'll do better out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really hopeful.
Yeah, for sure. And I will attach links to both of those festivals and the information you guys, if you want to look into it, it'll be in the description below. So they can definitely check that out there.
If you're in Cincinnati or in Ohio, the nightclub Tallulah, they are throwing bass shows. So if you're in town and you want to check out the spot, like it's a really dope nightclub. So I will also attach a link to that.
Nice, very cool. Yeah, I'll definitely throw that in there as well.
Like I definitely would love to have a better friendship with you because just you seem very genuine. You're super super kind, and it's just energy like that I need to have in my life.
Yeah,
so.
Listen. I'm the type of person where whatever energy you give to me, I will give it back to you tenfold. Where and how can people connect with you if they wanted to reach out or, learn more about you?
So Instagram I'm very easy to find. If you just look up Intrasy, I should be the first result. I always check my messages daily. I'm more than happy to talk to anybody. So if you want to reach out and talk and ask questions or just get to know me, please, I'm more than happy to.
Amazing. Yeah, no, I can even speak, definitely reach out to him. He is such a kind, outgoing, individual, so don't be afraid to shoot him a message. But also, music-wise, where can people listen to your tracks and, just kind of vibe off to those?
So my latest EP is on every platform. Spotify, that's where I'll definitely put a lot of... It's Spotify. It's going to be on everything. SoundCloud is where all my mixes will be. But if you're looking to see my style, my mixing, I did my Renegade Forest mixes up on SoundCloud. If you want to check out what I'm trying to do.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, and again, you guys can check all those out. I'll have them in the description below. Definitely give it a listen because it is amazing. I can speak for myself that even during work, I'll throw on your tracks. And I'm just sitting here vibing, typing emails. So it's definitely awesome. You know, my last question for you, are there any final thoughts or anything else that you want to share?
Lars, you just show up. Like, seriously, I really appreciate it. Like, just seeing that, it makes a world of a difference. So, I hope that, that I can make some more friends along the way, and that I can honestly just make a difference for people. Like, it makes not only me happy, but I hope to make other people happy as well.
I really appreciate your time. Like I said, you guys definitely check him out. Give it a listen. I promise you will love it. But we'll definitely be in contact. And if you guys have any questions for me on how to reach out to him, please message me. I would love to, connect the dots. But other than that, I appreciate your time and thank you so much. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next time.